Because you were with the improv group, weren't you? The Second City in Chicago?
Was.
And that's where you met your wife, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
So was she a performer too?
I was actually her teacher at SAG. There she is.
Wow. Is that legal for you to go home with one of your students?
Well, we weren't doing the jiggery penalty poke at that point. No, I saw her in class and I thought, wow, she's just a knockout. She's so smart and she's so... well, I mean, first sight, love at first sight, really.
Really? That's so sweet.
No, it really was. We celebrated 20 years.
Congratulations.
In August. Thanks.
And was it love at first sight for you as well, Gordon?
It was hard. I was living in Paris. I came back to a friend's wedding and Tana was dating a friend of mine. Yeah, I know. And we celebrate 20 years this year. So, yeah,
wow. Congratulations.
It was love at first sight, yeah. But I couldn't go there because, you know, my mate. So she came to me.
So... So you had to wait for a while?
I had to wait 2 years.
Wow.
Yes.
So, Are you still friends?
No, not good.
And so those 2 years, though, you were carrying a torch for her, so you must have felt pretty awful.
Tana at the time was only 17 as well, so I thought it was apt, you know,
yeah.
to wait to at least, you know, 19, 20.
That smile you're doing, there's something you're not telling me.
No, it's you. So, and I went back to Paris, finished my training, then
Yeah.
I came back and opened my first restaurant, and I suppose having the first chance to cook for her properly really sort of set it up. But she came with a boyfriend.
I can't imagine how great that is to have that ability to woo a woman, to cook for her. Yeah. Oh my, it would have happened a lot sooner for me had I been able to.
Were you a late starter with the opposite sex?
I was so lame. When I first started talking to Nancy, I'd go across the street and she worked at the bar across the street from Second City, and I used to go over and order a Diet Coke and hang out at the bar and talk to her. And for months, we talked at each other like, hey, if I ever asked someone out, it would be someone like you. And she'd say, boy, if someone like you ever asked me out, I'd go out on a date with that someone who... But it was like weeks turned into months of like, hey, how you doing? And we didn't do anything until finally one of us kind of blinked and we ended up going out.
Wow. Who blinked first? Who asked?
She blinked first. She
Wow.
was like, okay, let's go. And I don't think I'd said, let's go out, but I said, okay. It was like Nerd Patrol. It was...
Okay, you are now in a relationship.
Oh, Jonathan, what a disaster. Okay, so it's not my fault that I'm dead sexy, is it? I flew home to Canada to film a documentary, and my little sister, you know what she's like, she wanted me to go out drinking with her. I was like, aren't alcoholics supposed to drink alone? She's like, please, come out. So I had just landed. I went to the pub with her. And into this pub walks my first love from when I was 15 years old. I haven't seen him in 20 years.
Wow.
He walks into the pub. I'm in an old jumper. He looked like a full-blood Hemsworth brother. Just hot. Hot.
Nice.
And I looked at him and I thought, I'll bang him, won't I?
So how long since you last saw him?
I hadn't seen him in 20 years.
20 years. So you instantly recognised him?
Of course I did. I'm the one difficult. I have a whole new face, Jonathan. Yeah, I recognized him. He looks the same. I really did like him at the time. And then I took him back to my mom's place, you know, because I don't live in Canada. Yeah. And I know what you're thinking. Just got off a flight, Catherine? Cabin puss. Not concerned for me.
Wow. Good. Hold on. Good. Let's drill into that a bit.
It wasn't a concern for me.
Should I even ask what that is? I mean, first of all, let me ask this question. Do I want to know what that is? Alexander, you seem to know what that is immediately.
There was something about the way she said it.
Yeah, yeah.
You've been on a long haul before. But that's how you know it's true love.
Yeah.
So when we were young...
Did you feel like you were in love with him when you were young? Was that like a relationship where you thought, okay, this could be the real thing, or did it feel like a fling back then?
Oh no, I was deeply in love with him. We were prom king and queen.
Oh wow.
Yas queen. He invested his virginity wisely because now I'm a famous celebrity.
Hold it. So you were the first woman he sat with?
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
I hope so. It was illegal before we met.
And was he the first guy that you slept with?
Sure.
Oh, that's so sweet. And so you met again, and so this is going places. You've actually got back together as a couple?
Well, I flipped out. I woke up in the morning at my mom's and I thought, oh, what have I done? You need to leave. I chucked him out. And then he came to London, like a real romantic gesture.
Oh, he followed you here.
It's awful, isn't it? What a disaster. So, I mean, it's under review at the moment, is the best I can say.
Well, I had Lucy on the show before I knew you guys were together, and I was surprised when I found out you married, because no disrespect, John, but I kind of didn't
Go
think...
on, Jonathan.
Well, I didn't know anyone would marry you, you know what I mean?
Because of my goblin-like qualities.
Well, no, not because of that, because you are kind of like, and I'm sure partly it's enhanced for your performance, but because you are, negative's the wrong word, but gloomy. Gloomy.
He is gloomy.
So the gloominess, I thought, would repel people rather than attract.
It's not been easy.
Yeah.
That's it. But
I did try it. In fairness, I tried to repel you over a number of... it was Roshi and Connerty set us up, and for months I said, if you like this girl, don't get us involved, because I'll ruin her fucking life.
But did you believe that?
I did at the time, yeah. I was very depressed, and I thought, why drag someone else down with me? And then after a few years, I thought, bollocks to it. I'll give it a go.
But have you heard this? It's so weird. Tell him about the number.
Well, because Roisin came to my house and said, I've met this girl, you're going to really like her, I think you're going to get married. So flippantly, I said, well, if we're going to get married...
Say it quickly, though. Don't, like, take
it's
a
quicker
long
if I don't get interrupted, in fairness.
You have been married 5 years, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Nearly done. I stored Lucy's number as my wife in my phone, to be flippant, and then I was pissed and I forgot. So when we met, I said, give me your number, ring me and I'll have your number. And she rang me and her number was already stored under my wife.
Oh, that's really lovely.
romantic.
It was
so lovely.
It was romantic.
Can I ask you, was it a sort of love at first sight sort of thing?
It really was a love at first sight. I mean, I'd never felt anything like it before. I hadn't even talked to him, and I was just like, okay, wow, okay.
Sizzle.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was like, okay, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if he was gay or whatever. I was just like, okay.
And so who made the first move?
Actually, it was at the end of the night. We hadn't even talked. And I don't normally do this. This isn't how it went. But I wrote in his notes with my number, and I put "call me" with a wink face. And then I had a text in the morning, and I was like, oh, I can't believe I just did that. You know, like, I didn't realise I'd done it. I was like, oh,
so
my
the wink
God.
face was you saying more than just, hey, I enjoyed chatting with you. It was like, are you interested? Because I'm interested.
Yeah, it was one of those. And, yeah, ever since, it's kind of gone from there. And,
wow.
Yeah.
I guess some people might say, oh, well, he's in love now and maybe he won't focus as much on diving. But you're saying, really, that, in a way, it's going to enable you to focus even more.
It is made... He was what saved me from not wanting to dive anymore.
Wow. So you were thinking about stopping?
After the Olympics, everyone if you ask any athlete, everyone feels down in the dumps about it because it's such a hard way to get back into it. But meeting someone, he just gave that extra motivation and made me think there's, like... Yeah, and he just made me work so hard and just, like, it was... Yeah, he's just exactly what I needed.
When did you meet her? What was the first date? Or when did you first approach her?
I met her, I just had seen Zorro, and then I was over at the Deauville Film Festival, and I saw that the next night of the festival, Katherine was going to be there with Zorro. So I said, all right. I asked the gentleman, my publicist, I'd really like to meet her. Can you find out if I can have a drink with her? And so they got back to me and said, yes, she's only going to be in for the one night, but she was in the middle of making Entrapment at that time. And I met her, you know, in the bar, and a total gentleman. And then they had to go off and do their work. And I said, you know, a chance when you come back, you know, if you want to have a nightcap and stuff. And she came back after all her work. We sat there for a little while. And I said to her after about half an hour, you know, I'm going to be the father of your children. And
things move fast.
Yeah, but it sounded good. And she said, you know, I've heard a lot about you. And I've seen a lot about you, and I think it's time that I say goodnight.
Wow.
And so I thought, oh, I've totally blew. She was gone early the next morning, And she went to a place, I don't know, maybe you all know, you know where Mull is in Scotland, the island?
Mull?
Mull.
Mull.
Mull, thanks you, Mull, up there, Mull. So I thought, it's all gone. I've just destroyed it. So I said, listen, I gotta find some roses, you know, and I gotta get some roses to her. And I couldn't believe it. By the time that Katherine arrived in Mull, she said, oh, and I can't do a Scottish accent. Oh, you'd never guess what's here in your rooms.
You really can't do a Scottish
No,
accent.
And they got her some flowers and an apology. And anyway, so I guess it worked out.
So that
okay.
worked out. Well, that's so lovely. 18 years. Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
quite something.
Thank you.